I want to ask you something. Think about the last time you ate a full meal, a real meal, nothing missing, and felt genuinely satisfied 1 hour later. Not stuffed, not still looking for something, not negotiating with yourself whether you need just one more thing, but just done. And if you have to pause just to think about and remember when that was, then tonight is going to be for you. So I want to name something before we go any further. Most of you are here because hunger doesn't make sense. Not all the time, not dramatically, but there is a pattern that you recognize. The hunger that shows up an hour after you ate a full meal, that 3 p.m. crash that no amount of intention can get through cleanly, the diet that worked for 3 weeks and then stopped, the meal you finished and immediately started thinking about what comes next. The food that you avoid just because you know what happens when you don't. And you've been calling that a willpower problem, but it's not. It's actually a signaling problem. And those are completely different problems with completely different solutions. So one number before we go further, Ozempic and Wegovy generated over $130 billion in projected market value because they address hunger at the hormonal level, not through willpower, not through restriction, through a hormone that your body already produces called GLP-1. And that signals your brain that you're done eating. Tonight, I'm going to teach you what GLP-1 actually does. I'm also going to talk about the other two hunger hormones and what they do, why they get disrupted, what helps naturally, and what my customers use to support this whole system. I want to be clear about what tonight is before we get started. It's actually more of like a biology class first and a product presentation second. So I'm going to teach you about the three hunger hormones that determine whether your effort works or doesn't. I'm going to give you everything I know about supporting those hormones without spending a dime. I'm going to talk about all of it. I'm not going to hold anything back. And then I'm going to show you the system that my customers and I use when this DIY approach isn't enough. By the end of tonight, you're not going to feel sold to, you're just going to feel informed. If the system that my customers and I love makes sense for where you are, I'll share the three ways to get access to it. But if all you take from tonight is the biology, and the healthy habits approach, then that has value too. Either way, you're not going to waste your time tonight. So let me just tell you who you're talking to tonight. I'm not a weight loss person. I didn't have a dramatic journey. I didn't find a product and then transform overnight. I'm really more of a numbers girl. I have a corporate background. My husband and I have 4 daughters. We love to travel. I love to spend time with my family. And so I just want to feel good. What I had was a gap between the effort I was putting in and the results that I was getting. I was actually decently disciplined about food. I knew what I should eat. I tracked it most of the time. I planned most of the time. My body actually kept working against me in ways that didn't really add up. And when something doesn't add up, I just tend to look for what's wrong with the equation. And I wasn't actually the problem. It was the signals that were the problem. And when I understood that, everything changed, not because I found motivation, but because I finally understood the biology. Now, before I get into the biology, I want to address three things that I believed that were slowing me down. I hear them from women in my community constantly. I believed every single one of them. I'm going to tell you what changed my mind, and I'm going to let a couple of them share theirs as well. But I had all of these beliefs as well. So I thought I needed more willpower. For years, I thought I was healthy. Like I preferred to order a salad a lot of the times, but really my struggles with any of my weight or bloating, I really did see as my fault. I was not regular in the bathroom. I thought, oh, I should just eat more fiber. I struggled with cravings for junk, like just put down the cookie or the chips and queso, right? I felt tired a lot of the time. I should just implement a bedtime wind down routine. But, elimination diets are hard. I did take some supplements and all the things that you're supposed to do. And every time something didn't work, I came back to the same conclusion was just that I just needed more willpower. I couldn't stick to it. One day, a friend was telling me how much she loved these products and honestly was not looking for another supplement because I really was not impressed with what I already had. But she started talking about gut health. She started talking about how she felt like her whole digestive system just worked better now. And that actually got my attention. So she was talking about how gut health was also linked to these seemingly random things like heartburn and headaches and weight loss and mood, even my sleep. And I remember thinking, how can one simple supplement system possibly help with all of those different issues? And that question just kind of stuck with me. And the more stories I heard, the more I realized that these women weren't talking about more discipline or trying harder. They were talking about like finally supporting something that their bodies had been missing. And that's really when it clicked for me. Like maybe I wasn't failing because I just lacked willpower. Maybe I had been trying to solve symptoms while ignoring what was happening underneath them. So I maybe my body wasn't working against me at all. Like it was actually just asking for some support in these places that I didn't even know to look. And I realized many of the struggles that I blamed personally on lack of willpower were just signs that like it just I needed more support. And eventually what I learned was that Plexus doesn't create products to chase symptoms. They focus on root issues. So it was like a light bulb really went off in that moment. And I just kind of started talking about it, not because I wanted a business or anything, but really because women don't sit around discussing things like constipation and cravings and struggles and anxiety or financial stress. And somebody just has to start the conversation. So I started the conversation with my friend Kathy, who started the conversation with her friend Casey, who started the conversation with her friend Lori, and Lori is going to tell us a little bit about her story now.
Okay, hi. Can y'all hear me? Okay. After having my twins 21 years ago, I started noticing I was having a lot of trouble losing weight. I never really had to worry about weight before. I was teaching and I have osteoarthritis. I've been having that since I was a child. I was always in pain. So it kind of made working out hard. And so I would diet and I would get hope from it because I'd lose a little bit weight, but then I'd be in pain and I'd have to stop working out. It was just this vicious cycle. And meanwhile, the scale was just climbing. Um, what did I try? You name it, everything. Weight Watchers, Atkins, Nutrisystem. That's not for Southern people. I'm going to tell you that right now. Just working out, not eating certain foods is just a vicious cycle. And I just figured, well, guess what? This is just who I am. I'm just a big girl, and that's it. I'm just going to be big. Um, when Casey shared Plexus with me, I was not excited about that. I was very skeptical about that. And I thought, this is not going to work. I'm going to prove it doesn't work. I'm going to look up and Google everything and purposely typing what's bad about Plexus and what it's a scam. And I ended up ordering it and I said, I'm going to try it. I paid for it. I'm going to do it. So out of nowhere, one day I realized I could close my fingers all the way. My joints felt better. I was in this really weird, good mood all of a sudden. And I thought, this cannot be from this stuff. This is ridiculous. But I think it was. I just felt so happy. It wasn't what I expected. I expected to just like not be hungry, but these other things were happening and I felt good. I felt in control. I felt less snacky. My inflammation went down, and none of this happened really quickly. It was just like Casey would say, it stacked on and it stacked on and it stacked on. I realized then that my body just needed some extra help. And it wasn't about willpower. All this time I thought I'm weak. I can't do it. But that's not true. I just needed my body to respond to something, and I didn't know what I didn't know. So I no longer believe that this is who I am. I think I'm down 90 pounds. I think I lost half of it on Plexus. And it's the easiest way I've ever lost weight. But I now believe that with this support, change is possible. So thanks for listening.
Oh, I love it. Change is possible with the support. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing, Lori. Thank you. Um, and another person that I had to tell about this was a childhood friend of mine. I'm going to say childhood. It was high school, but we were so young. And that was Jessie. And so, Jessie, would you please share your story?
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, yeah. Thank you, Lori. That was a great. I love your story. And I was the same, but a little different. I used to believe for myself that I should be able to hit my goals with just food alone, and I shouldn't need the supplements, right? And honestly, that belief made sense to me because I knew food mattered, right? We know food matters. Protein, vegetables, water, movement, healthy habits are all so important. And so a part of me thought if I just do it better, if I just eat better, if I just try harder, that should be enough. But day to day, my life was telling a different story. And so I was tired. My mood was all over the place. My cravings were just loud, and my gut was a mess. My hormones felt like they were running the show. And I was left every night wondering why the healthy habits I knew to do were so hard to sustain. And so then I shifted my thinking and I started to look at it differently. And I realized I was trying to plant these good habits into a terrain that was not fully prepared to receive them. And yes, food matters, but our food today is not the same as it used to be. Our soil's depleted. We're not always getting the nutrients we think we're getting. And most of us are not eating enough variety, eating the season, eating in season, or eating the rainbow consistently. And so, on top of that, we're exposed to processed foods, seed oils, stress, convenience eating, all the things, right? And so, for me personally, I also knew I wasn't getting enough of the nutrients and that my gut needed support. And when my gut was off, everything fell off, my energy, my mood, my cravings, hormones, all of it. And so that was the shift for me. I realized that supplements weren't replacing the food, and they weren't like I wasn't giving up my healthy habits. It wasn't replacing that. They were helping prepare my terrain, my body, so that my food and my habits and my consistency had a better chance of actually taking root. And so my new belief became this: food is the foundation, but preparing the terrain is what helps that foundation hold. And that was just the biggest shift for me. And when I made that shift and invested in the supplements, my whole world started to it's like when the sun comes out and the flower opens up, right? So that was the biggest shift for me, was just pivoting my thought around supplementation.
So true. I love how you said it's not replacing
Yeah.
because it's literally supplementing, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
good. Thank you.
Hmm.
All right, so before anything else, I want you to understand the biology. So, this is we're not going to go deep dive into like, too deep, but like this is really important for everybody to understand because, knowledge is power. So, once you understand what's actually happening, then everything else that I'm going to talk about tonight is going to make sense. So there's three hormones that control whether your hunger and fullness work the way they're supposed to. And then when all three are calibrated, your body runs just as designed. You eat, you feel satisfied, you stop, you don't think about food again until you actually need fuel. But when they're disrupted, and most of our systems are disrupted for reasons that we've discussed already, even hunger feels like it's got this mind of its own. So let's talk ghrelin. Ghrelin rises before meals and it tells your body to eat. In a calibrated system, it drops after eating and its job is done. In a disrupted system, ghrelin stays elevated longer after your meals and it spikes more sharply before meals. So here's the important part. It rises in response to stress and poor sleep as if they were hunger. It's crazy to me. So if you've ever heard the term stress eating, like it's actually real. And this is why you can eat a full dinner and feel hungry again before bed. It's not because you need more food. It's because ghrelin never fully quieted after your meal. The trigger is misfiring. Now, leptin. Leptin is produced by your fat cells, and it tells your brain that you've had enough to eat. The problem most women face is that they're not producing leptin. They call it leptin resistance. The brain stops receiving the signal even when it's being sent. So that's why caloric restriction, like it backfires a lot. You eat less, you lose some weight, leptin drops, your brain interprets that as starvation, and it's a signal to increase the hunger to compensate. And so the diet stops working not because you failed, but because the hormone responded exactly the way it was designed to respond to what felt to it like famine. Years of these blood sugar spikes and chronic stress and disrupted sleep, they train the brain to stop listening to that fullness signal. You eat a full meal, the signal gets sent, and now the brain doesn't hear it. And that's why you keep looking for more. But leptin resistance is not permanent, right? Good news. It's a conditioned state. And the conditioned state can be reconditioned. That's the best news ever. All right, GLP-1. This is glucagon-like peptide 1. It is released from your gut after eating. It slows gastric emptying, which means food stays in your stomach longer so you feel full longer. It supports blood sugar control by improving insulin sensitivity, and it also signals your brain to stop eating. GLP-1 is the bridge between what you ate and whether your brain gets the message that you're done. When GLP-1 is low or it's unsupported, the bridge is weak. You finish a meal, the calories are there, the food is there, but the message never fully arrives. 10 minutes later, you're standing at the open cabinet or the fridge or the pantry or whatever, and you're looking for something else. This is exactly the mechanism that GLP-1 medications target. The drug isn't creating a new system. It's actually mimicking and it amplifies a hormone that your gut already produces. The question is whether you can support that production on your own. And there's my dog. And what you can add when your healthy habits alone just aren't moving it fast enough. Now, before we talk about what breaks these signals, I do want to show you something that ties it all together. Ghrelin, leptin, GLP-1, they actually don't operate in isolation. All three of them are influenced by the same upstream system, which is your gut. So GLP-1 specifically is released by cells lining your intestine. They're called L cells. The cells respond directly to what's happening in your gut, including the bacteria that lives there. A diverse, healthy gut microbiome ferments fiber into these short chain fatty acids. And those short chain fatty acids are one of the primary triggers that tell the L cells to release more GLP-1. Gut health is so important to the production of these hormones. So here's what disrupts all three signals simultaneously. You've got blood sugar spikes. Ultra processed foods spike our blood sugar rapidly. Poor sleep, even one night of insufficient sleep actually elevates your ghrelin and suppresses that leptin. Chronic poor sleep, ugh, that actually rewrites the whole signaling system. So sleep is not actually just a lifestyle recommendation. It's like a biological requirement for hunger calibration. We need to take our sleep more seriously. Chronic stress, oh, the world we live in. Cortisol disrupts all three signals at once. For the woman managing a household, a career, and everyone else, right? Everyone else's needs she's responsible for. Like she's probably running on 5 hours of sleep. Her stress is at a constant input, right? She's working against every effort that she makes with food. Now we're talking about eating speed. The leptin signal actually takes about 20 minutes to reach the brain. So you remember this advice, I know I do, way back when from grandma that was like, hey, chew slowly, let your brain catch up. Eating faster actually means that the fullness message never actually arrives to before the second portion of your meal is already gone. So 20 minutes. You really, really need those 20 minutes. She knew what she was talking about. So hopefully from this, you can see that like every approach that women have tried, like at least in our generation, this restriction, this calorie counting, this elimination, it's been asking us to override or like disrupt these signals using willpower. And the signals are always going to win eventually. The only sustainable path that we have is to actually address the signals. Some people can get in the zone and stay like super disciplined about their healthy habits, and that's awesome. And that if that is you, this is everything I know about supporting these three signals through food and lifestyle. It's a complete version. I'm not going to give you this teaser to make you need a product. If this is all you take from tonight and you implement this, you will see results. That's the point of this slide. So, number one, we got to talk protein and fiber before carbohydrates. Your same meal, different order, completely different hormonal response. If you follow the glucose goddess on Instagram, she will tell you it's like a veggie starter. Start your meal with that fiber and that protein before you go into the French fries, right? Just switch the order, different hormone response. Protein is triggering the GLP-1 release and it reduces ghrelin. Fiber is going to slow the glucose absorption. So when you put those before those simple carbohydrates, it blunts that blood sugar spike. So it may spike a little bit, but it doesn't spike as much because a bigger spike is going to disrupt the GLP-1 response. And that is what's going to leave you looking for something else to eat in 2 hours. And this is totally free. It starts working immediately. It requires no dietary change, only sequencing. You can do this with your next meal. Second one is soluble fiber. So things like oats and chia seeds, flax seeds, beans, broccoli, sweet potatoes. Soluble fiber is going to slow down the digestion. It will also trigger GLP-1 release, and it's going to create that like sustained fullness. And you want to, Jess even talked for this, aim for a variety. Get a variety, different fiber sources. They actually feed different bacteria in the gut. And a diverse microbiome is going to produce more GLP-1. So more variety is a better signal. The third one is eat slowly, like grandma told you to, not mindfully, just slowly. So give the leptin the signal that's just 20 minutes. Give it 20 minutes. It needs all 20 minutes to reach the brain. Put the fork down between bites. And that requires zero dietary change to address one of the four main causes of signal disruption directly, like literally just slow down. The fourth one here is polyphenols, and that's another thing Jess alluded to, is the colorful foods, the berries, the dark leafy greens, the green tea, the cocoa, the herbs, the spices, these plant compounds, they support GLP-1 pathways and they reduce ghrelin. So this is the mechanism why behind like a colorful plate, eat the rainbow tends to be more satisfying than a beige one. It's actually not aesthetics. It's actually the signaling chemistry. Number 5 is sleep is a non-negotiable. It's not a wellness tip, a requirement for signal calibration. Less than 7 hours measurably elevates ghrelin and suppresses leptin. One bad night changes the hunger signal. Chronic poor sleep rewires it. So improve sleep quality. That is literally a hunger hormone intervention. Just frame it that way and take your sleep super seriously. Number six is walk after meals. Just 10 minutes. This doesn't have to be a 3 mile walk. 10 minutes. This is specifically for your blood sugar management. The post-meal blood sugar spike is one of the primary disruptors of the GLP-1 response. Just a 10-minute walk after eating will measurably reduce that spike. This is small, it's specific, and this is immediately actionable. Get out there for a walk the next time you eat. And the last one is manage stress. So manage it as a hunger intervention, not like in the self-care like sense. In the like cortisol disrupts all three hunger signals simultaneously sense. Whatever lowers cortisol for you, that could be walking, maybe it's breath work, maybe it's putting the phone down, maybe it's just getting outside. It's like it really is a hunger hormone intervention. And if you frame it as like your biology and it's not indulgence, then maybe it's something that you'll actually do, right? Okay, so I want to tell you what happened when I implemented all of these things. I did the protein first. I added the fiber, the veggie starter. I did slow down how I ate. I looked at sleep in a serious way. I track it on my Aura Ring. Thank you very much. And I hadn't done that before. I walked after dinner most nights, and it does help, you guys. The signals do get better. The hunger between meals, it becomes quieter, and the 3 p.m. crash, way less severe. The meals would register most of the time, but because I was maintaining 7 simultaneous behavioral changes, and when life did what life does, a hard week, a sick kid, right, a week of travel, if one or two of those things slip, when they slip, the signals slid back faster than I could expect. So I felt like all the hard work I was doing was useless, and it frustrated me to keep trying to and just backtrack when life got in the way. What I needed wasn't more willpower to maintain the healthy habits. I needed something working on the biology underneath because while I was doing the healthy habits, right? So, and it wouldn't be so hard. So the habits don't end up having to carry that entire load. And that's when I started using this system, not instead of this DIY approach. Like it doesn't replace healthy habits, but alongside of it. Because a lot of this stuff is really coming from the gut microbiome. And we'll talk about that in here in a sec. Okay. So the products that I love and my customers love that are going to support some of these things. So the GLP-1 support system is made up of these 3 products. Each one addresses a different part of what we just covered, and together they work on all 3 signals simultaneously. I want to show you how it works, not just that, hey, it's working for so many of my customers. Let me show you how. Okay, so Slim Hunger Control. This is a daily drink mix. Optimal weight loss and blood sugar balance with Slim alone happens, about 30 to 60 minutes when you drink it before your 1 or 2 main meals. This is okay, it's a little sciencey, but here is the mechanism to ingredient connection that I really want you to see because I really want you to understand what's going on under the system, not just, hey, it's yummy, right? I taught you that soluble fiber triggers the GLP-1 release. Slim contains an ingredient called polydextrose. It's a plant-based, soluble, prebiotic fiber. It has been shown in studies to stimulate the body's natural production of GLP-1, the hormone that signals satiety and helps you feel full longer. So the same mechanism that I described earlier, but it's, a more precise delivery naturally. So we talked about how blood sugar spikes disrupt that GLP-1. So another ingredient here is, please don't judge me on how I pronounce this stuff, is chromium polynicotinate. It's an essential trace mineral that supports a healthy glucose metabolism. It helps to facilitate like getting that glucose into the cells. It's working on the same blood sugar pathway that we discussed. It's all working upstream. And then in the blend, they've got things like coffee bean extract, which is a chlorogenic acid that it like aids in glucose metabolism support. It's got things like Garcinia cambogia, alpha lipoic acid, white mulberry fruit extract, and all of these ingredients, they're not there to sound fancy and sciencey. They're all working on that glucose and metabolic side. So these are so, so important, and they're in there for a reason. This is only 15 to 20 calories a serving. We've got some different um, flavor options that are super yummy, and there's nothing, it's gluten-free, it's vegan, it's non-GMO, all the good things. The reason that it's recommended to drink this 30 to 60 minutes before eating is because of that fiber. It works and it can get started working before your meal even arrives. So that GLP-1 support, like it's already primed. So that's the mechanism. That's really what this product is doing. And now Restore, that's the second product in our GLP-1 support system. And this product actually targets the two signals that the Slim Hunger Control does not, and that is ghrelin and leptin. So I told you that ghrelin is the hunger trigger that stays elevated when it should drop, and then leptin resistance means the fullness signal stops being received. And Restore is going to address both of these through that gut-brain connection. So it's got a few blends in it. One of them is an appetite control blend. It's got things like hibiscus power, yeast, hydrolysate, magnolia bark, berberine, hydrochloride. Well, these things, I put them on the screen. These are working via your gut-brain axis, and it's going to decrease the secretion of that ghrelin. It's going to increase your leptin levels, and it's going to support that steadier appetite control throughout the day. These are big words, but they're really, really effective. It's also going to address your stress-related cravings, right? Because that's a real thing. And those stress-related cravings map directly to what I was talking about cortisol disrupting all those signals. So things like the magnolia bark and the berberine, they've demonstrated stress-reducing effects that support appetite control under the conditions that typically like derail people just trying to do it with, on their own. So we've got a cellular detox blend in here. So things like spirulina and spinach and aloe vera, that's actually supporting your liver function, which is super important. The liver is producing bile, which is converting your fat into fuel. We want that to be a clean pathway. When the liver is supporting a natural detox process, the whole metabolic system just runs more cleanly. And then it's got a digestive support blend. So this is stuff like ginger root and peppermint leaf, these are like soothing the digestive tract, which makes your body is going through this detox, through this cleanse, and this makes it way more comfortable. So there's no like weird surprises, no discomfort. That helps it work more smoothly. So it's a lemon berry flavor, mixes really well with the Slim black cherry lime. Mix it 30 minutes before lunch. You can do it twice daily if you want to for weight management. I wouldn't start there. I would really start with just once a day because it's a lot of detox. They're pretty powerful products. And if you just did Restore on its own, it's actually really great in the evening for detox support. Full intended benefits really of Restore, they actually build over the course of 12 weeks. And then the last part of the GLP-1 system is called Balance. And the Balance is actually a capsule product. It addresses the upstream cause of those blood sugar spikes, which is one of the four main signal disruptors. So here's what it does. You eat carbohydrates, enzymes in your small intestine break them down into sugars. Those enter the bloodstream and they spike your blood glucose. The spike disrupts the GLP-1 response and leaves you looking for more. So Balance has things like white kidney bean extract and mulberry leaf extract, and both of those inhibit those enzymes that are breaking the carbs and sugars down into glucose. So fewer sugars absorbed means a lower blood glucose spike. A lower spike means better GLP-1 response, which means the meal that you just ate registers more completely. Cinnamon bark extract, cool stuff, adds polyphenols. And those support that hormone response to food, help you maintain a healthy blood glucose level. Something just to make note of, Balance doesn't block protein, it doesn't block your vitamins, and it doesn't block your minerals. It's only blocking those carbs and sugars that are spiking that glucose. So you're still going to get your nutrients from the meal. You're just going to minimize the glycemic impact. So have you ever heard of the glycemic index on foods and knowing that you want something with a lower one? This is going to help lower that. This is you take 2 capsules when you drink your Restore and Slim together about 30 minutes before your largest meal. Um, this also is a product that gives you some nice flexibility. It's a great one for dinner out. Birthday cake, right? When your meal prep didn't happen, balance. I like that balance doesn't require me to be perfect to still protect my system. So everything we just walked through, Slim Restore Balance, that GLP-1 support system, it works on the hormone side of the equation. But remember, I said earlier, GLP-1 doesn't start with a hormone, it starts in your gut. And that's where these two come in. So BioCleanse is going to clean out what your body doesn't need. It's going to support regularity. It's going to help remove substances that crowd out the bacteria that you actually want there. Um, Probio 5 is going to reseed that environment. It's got 5 probiotic strains in it. It really will set up, I think Jess referred to it as terrain. It's really going to set up your gut to have this optimal place for your hormones to work, right? So you're going to create the conditions for bacteria that ferment fiber into those short chain fatty acids that are going to trigger that GLP-1 release in the first place. And then your Slim is your prebiotic that is feeding the system. Add that with Restore and Balance, and it's managing the hormones, the carbs together, right? And then the BioCleanse and the Probio 5 are taking care of the environment that everything else is really depending on. So this is where this leaves you. There are 3 ways to build this. You can do the gut health system, which is Slim, BioCleanse, and Probio 5. This is the foundation. And honestly, if you've never addressed your gut before, start here. The second one here on the screen is the GLP-1 support system, which is Slim, Restore, and Balance. This is what we've spent tonight on. If your hunger signals are the main problem, this is a direct hit. And then the last one is a complete system, which is all 5 products, which is both pillars at once. And I'll be straightforward about which one I recommend because I don't believe in being vague about this at all. Your hormones are downstream of your gut. You can support GLP-1 directly all day long, but if the environment producing it is working against you, you're managing the symptom while the root cause stays untouched. That doesn't mean the other 2 are wrong. It means I just want you choosing with your eyes open and not by accident. So what's included when you get one of these systems? Well, a lot. With these systems, okay, you're going to get, well, obviously the complete product system. You're not, piecing this together and hoping you've got the whole system working at once. You've got access to a live challenge that I'll talk about in a second, a structured program that you're going to follow alongside of the system. You won't be staring at a box wondering where to start. There's a roadmap and we're all going to do it together. Another thing you get is our private customer community. So support, encouragement, accountability. We share tips, we share recipes, all sorts of stuff. This is practical tools that work with the system and what it's doing biologically. You have access to that entire community, not just the version of us that posts our highlight reels, the version of us that actually answers questions. Emotional support, motivation, right? A community of women on the same path who understand just where you are. The Plexus 60-day money-back guarantee. Come on. The only thing you're risking is 2 months of your life. And you've already spent longer on that on approaches that didn't touch the signals, right? That one's huge. You're going to get complete how-to guides with instructions, what to expect, frequently asked questions, all the things that we wanted handed to us on day 1 rather than trying to figure this out for ourselves. You're going to get the super cute branded water bottle. Helps you mix up that viral purple drink or the pink drink on the go. And then VIP customers and brand ambassadors are automatically enrolled in our Stay Well program, which it rewards healthy habits. They send you free products in the mail like every few months, which is really, really fun. And this is the challenge I mentioned. So you're all invited. Everyone here is invited. Order your products. Enjoy your 4th of July. Have all the hot dogs you want and the America Punch that you want. And then jump into this challenge with us for 21 days. You're going to see less hunger, more energy, and a metabolism that finally feels like it's on your side. So these are the three ways to access those systems. So a retail customer is somebody that's like, I just want to try this before committing, right? I don't want to commit to anything. It's a one-time purchase. Here, the prices are on the let's say the GLP-1 system is $235. There's no subscription, there's no auto ship, no monthly obligation, one order, full 60-day money back guarantee. You get everything in the stack. You try the system, try it for 60 days, evaluate it with your own experience. If you don't like it, Plexus refunds your money. This door is really for the super skeptic. I think Lori can relate to that one. The woman who needs to experience the result before she decides on anything else. And it's a valid place to start. I got to say, most of my retail customers, they move to door two by month two. Not because anyone asked them to, but because the math just makes more sense when you're going to buy it every month anyway. And then door two is that VIP customer. Like I've already decided I want the best price and I'm going to give this a real 90-day minimum run. VIP membership, so for the GLP-1 system is $181 a month. You guys, it's $6 a day. I waste that. Oh, we can't even talk about Amazon Prime Week. Okay, so save up to 25% off of retail pricing just as a VIP customer. You get a convenient monthly delivery. You put your products on subscription and you save. There is an initial $9.95 one-time membership fee, but this is a great avenue if you're willing to commit to it for a little bit. The math over 90 days, honestly, like retail would be over 90 days would be like over $700. VIP, even with the $9.95 that you have to do to get started, is still like $550. So you're really talking over $150 savings over 90 days, which more than covers the cost to commit to the full timeline up front. So and you can cancel anytime. There's no contract. You manage it through your account. But door two, this VIP customer is really for the woman who looks at the math and is like, you know what, that just makes so much more sense to me. But that would be me. And then I've got on here door three as a brand ambassador. And that's honestly, that's for a specific woman. That's for a woman that looked at this system and listened to the science and thought, if I believe in this enough to mention it to a handful of people in my life, I can get my products paid for or more. And this door specifically is only on this slide for her. If that thought didn't cross your mind tonight, door one, door two, those are complete answers. I'm not going to nudge you towards door three, but if it did, what it actually looks like is really just two different paths. You just choose the one that fits for you. I've got casual builder on here, which is like, I want my products covered, maybe a little extra. So maybe $100, $200 of recurring monthly income because I want to share with a handful of my friends. A career builder would be somebody more that like wants real income from this, and the sky's the limit here. If you're looking to supplement an income, replace an income, or just create some additional security in your financial life, I mentor women on this path each month. So before I let you go, I want to walk you through something, not the version that I want to be true, the calendar version of most women describe. I want to be very, very honest about timing. This is not a 2-week experiment. The clinical study on slim hunger control alone saw an average of 5.5 pounds lost in about 8 weeks. Restore, like I said before, builds its full intended benefits over 12 weeks. So if you look at this, week one, you start the system, you mix up Slim and Restore 30 minutes before lunch, you take 2 balance capsules. Done. You take your gut health products at bedtime. Your body starts to adjust. Some women actually notice something in week one. Most notice something in week two. And I don't mean weight loss necessarily. Sometimes it's sleep. Sometimes it's mood. Sometimes it's energy. Sometimes it's your sense of motivation. I loved how Lori called it. I was just like in this weird happy mood, right? Sometimes that's what you notice. And all of that is normal. You just keep going. Some customers have told me the hunger between meals is quieter. It's not gone, but it's quieter. And the meal that she ate is registering before she decided that she needs something else. And then week three. So week three, we get here, and the hunger between meals is less urgency. You finish a meal and don't immediately look for something else. That 3 p.m. window is maybe less of a wall. The food decision that you would have made on autopilot 2 weeks ago takes a bit of maybe like actual thought now. You're not sure if it's the system or if it's just a good week. It's the system. My customers have told me the 3 p.m. crash has less edge. Food decision that she would have made on autopilot 2 weeks ago required less effort. And like she felt like the signal was starting to calibrate. Okay, now we're moving on to month 2. And the habits feel different, not because you're more disciplined, but because the signals are starting to support you instead of working against you. That veggies and protein first, the slower eating, the walking after dinner, these feel less like maintenance and more like information. Your body is responding to them in a way that it wasn't before. So my customers have told me I've gotten less. Somehow it's just easier. It feels like the signals are starting to work with me instead of against me. And then let's look at month 3. So now we're heading into the 90-day version of you. And this is not some dramatic transformation, nothing you'd maybe even post on social media yet, if that's not who you are. But this is like the hunger that had no logic before has logic now. The effort that you were always willing to put in is like finally getting that return that it deserved, and your body is working like it was literally designed to work. This is what we would refer to as the compounding effect, right? The biology is running the way it was designed to run. The effort you were always willing to put in finally gets this proportional return. And this is the version that I want for you. It's not a miracle. These are natural plant-based products. They're just supporting that signaling, and now it's running correctly. So I hope you feel tonight was worth your time, not because you bought something or going to buy something, but because you understand something that you didn't before. You came tonight because hunger hasn't been making sense. And I hope that you're leaving tonight knowing why. And I hope that you know what to do about it with some lifestyle habits. Knowing what my customers and I personally use when a habits only approach needs support, I hope that helped you. If you're ready to get started tonight, new VIP customers get an additional 10% off tonight's order of any of these 3 systems. So just grab the link from the person who sent you the invite to tonight's class, and the choice is yours. I'm going to stop the recording if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, have a great night.